Good morning, students. Myself Swati Thakre, your science teacher. Students, how's your study going on? I hope you are doing well. And please take care of yourself, students. Take care of your family also. Eat healthy food. Drink boiled water. Okay? And do your study well. So, students, what we have seen in the previous session? We have seen in the previous session about the lesson number 3, that is fiber to fabric. Okay, so we have revised all the topics regarding that chapter. Now in today's session we are going to revise the lesson number 4, that is heat. Okay, so students, first of all, what is the question arise in your mind when you see this picture? What is this? Yes, students. Yes, it is a sun. As this is sun, what it tells us? It is really very hot. Okay, so in today's session we just revise what are the terms which are related to the heat. Okay, students, let's start with the first slide. So students, what is this picture shown over here? See, these are the sources of heat. Gas is available in our home. You have also seen, so sometimes the wood is also burned. Okay, and this is the third one is the coal. Okay, so gas, wood and coal, these three are the sources of heat, or these three are the things from which we get the heat easily. Okay, in the previous time or in the ancient time, the man uses two stone, and by rubbing that two stone, they can form a heat. See, in this fashion. So from the ancient time, heat is there. Okay. So there are most of the other also sources from which we get heat. Nowadays, we get heat in the form of electric current also. Suppose you use the oven, okay, for heating any food. So what is that oven? Oven, it is also a source of heat, but it is in the form of electricity. Okay, the fuels which are used in the vehicles, okay, which are used in the aeroplanes, so these all are the main sources of heat. Okay, students, so in today's session we are going to revise the first topic of this chapter is hot and cold. See, students, these are the two pictures. In these two pictures, first picture is of two glasses. In one glass there is a hot water, in other glass there is a cold water. Okay, or there are the slices of ice. Okay, so these are the cold things, and in one glass there is a hot water. So how we can determine whether the thing is hot or cold? In our daily life we come across numerous objects. So we some consider objects as hotter than others, or some as colder than others. So students, suppose we take here example of ice cream. We feels really colder than the recently cooked food. Okay, whenever we touch the ice cream, it is really colder than the recently cooked food or any kind of chapatis or anything. So we can say that hot and cold, these two terms are very relative to each others. Okay, so here we take these two things, that is, one thing is very hot, another thing it is very cold, and we consider here these two objects in the comparison manner. Okay, so how we can decide that whether this object is really very hot and this object is cold? But when we see these two things, we can easily compare that the water which is present in the glass is hot. So we can say that this is hot object, and the ice cube which are present in the other glass, these are cold. So we can say that this is the cold. Okay, it is really easy, students, to comparison. But whenever we come across this example, see over here, in one glass there is a hot water, in another glass there is also a hot water, in one glass there is a ice of cubes or ice of cubes, and another glass there is also a cold milk. So how we can differentiate that these things, out of these four things, which thing is really very hot and which thing is really very cold? Okay, so one may rely on his senses as touch. Okay, so how you can say that one thing is really hot or cold? You may say that we can touch that object and we can say that whether it is hot or cold or any vision. So but you cannot touch all the hot objects, isn't it so, students? You cannot touch all the hot objects. So also it is not a very reliable method. So whenever there are certain objects which are not touchable, and you have to show that whether that object is hot and cold. So what you will do at that time? What does your mother do when you are down with the fever, student? Yes, what is the first thing that your doctor does when you tell him that you are running a fever? What first thing do the doctors? Okay, so they measures a temperature. Okay, whenever you say that to your mother, I'm not feeling really well, uh, so or I'm down with the fever, at that time, what she will do, or what the doctor will do? Doctor will do, or doctor measures the temperature of your body. Okay, so here, from this, the concept comes temperature. Okay, so what is this temperature, students? See over here in this picture. Temperature is the measurement of hotness or coldness of an object. Okay, if we have to compare any object, or we have to say that whether that object is hot or cold, at that time there comes a new term, that is temperature, which is the measurement of hotness and coldness of object. Means how hot is object, or how cold, means how much amount of hot is object. Okay, so that is nothing but a temperature. So what is the definition of temperature in your textbook, students? The degree of hotness or the coldness of body or the environment is known as temperature. Okay, so the unit of temperature is degree Celsius, Kelvin, and the degree Fahrenheit. We have already seen in our lesson that there are three units for the temperature scale, but generally the temperature is measured by a unit called degree Celsius. Okay, commonly used unit, it is a degree Celsius. Okay, students, but it is shown in the degree Celsius form. Kelvin, it is shown by the capital K, and degree Fahrenheit, it is shown in the degree capital F, just like this form. See, students, over here, these are the formula for the Celsius for calculating the temperature scale. First, Celsius, if we have given the temperature in Kelvin, then we can easily calculate the degree Celsius formula. The examples for these formulas we have also seen in the lesson of this in this lesson. Okay, students, so Celsius scale is more commonly used all over the world. Okay, students, so see over here, This is cold object, this is hot object, and we here measure the temperature. When substance is heated, its temperature get rises, and on cooling the temperature comes down. This you all of you know that this is the basic term, that whenever any substance is heated or any substance is really hot, at that time the temperature is high. Due to high temperature, that substance is hot, and due to the low temperature, that substance is cool. Okay, students? So, this is about the temperature. Here, I want to tell you that the temperature of our body is 37 degree Celsius, while that temperature of our body in Fahrenheit scale is 98.4 degree Fahrenheit, while in Kelvin it is 310.15 Kelvin. Okay, students. Now these are the formula which you have to remember for for solving any problem. Okay. For Celsius, degree Celsius is equal to Kelvin minus 273.15. Kelvin is equal to degree Celsius plus 273.15. And for the Fahrenheit, degree Fahrenheit is equal to degree Celsius into 1.8 plus 32. Okay. The next term is thermometer. How this term is used? Say students, do you know how do we measure our body temperature? Here we have said that for any object, whether that object, for comparing any object, whether that object is hot or cold, we measure the temperature of that object. But how we can measure? Okay, how we can measure our body temperature also? We feel really fall down with the fever, but at that time how we measure the temperature of our body? So for measuring the temperature, there is a device. That device is called as thermometer. Okay, students, for measuring the temperature, we use the device that is thermometer. So let us learn about more about the thermometer. Okay, students. First, thermometer, it is the device which measure the temperature. It has two important elements: the temperature sensor, okay, and the scale that reads the temperature. Okay, that is temperature sensor and the scale. These two are the important elements which are present in the thermometer, which we will see in the later slides. Okay, students. So what are the types of thermometer? See students, there are different types of thermometers. So what are these? Such as alcohol thermometer, bimetal mechanical thermometer, Galileo thermometer, as this thermometer is found by the scientist Galileo. That's why the name is given by that scientist. Galileo thermometer, medical thermometer, mercury in glass thermometer, digital thermometer. Okay, so these all are the types of thermometer. But say students, in all among these thermometers, the mercury thermometer, okay, the mercury thermometer is commonly used. And this mercury thermometer is invented by the Gabriel Fahrenheit in 1714. Okay, so why this mercury thermometer is used, students, or the why mercury is used in the thermometer? Why only mercury is used, not other elements? So there are certain advantages of using this mercury in the thermometer. What are these? See students, sometimes the question is also asked in the exams, why mercury is used in the thermometer. The answer for this is, first of all, see students, mercury is an ideal element. Okay, it is the ideal element to be used in the thermometer. Why? Say the first reason is mercury is liquid element. Okay, it is not a solid element, it is liquid element. It remains in the liquid state for wide range of temperature. If there is more and more temperature, or increase in temperature, at that temperature also it is remains in liquid. It does not changes to any state of matter. So that's why mercury, it is a liquid element. Mercury being silvery gray in color, easily visible through the glass. As the color of mercury is silvery gray, it is easily visible through the glass. It does not stick to the glass surface. Also, as it is liquid, it is liquid element, it does not stick to the glass surface. Okay, so these are the reasons by due to which the mercury is used in the thermometer. Okay, students. Now there is one thermometer here, that is a laboratory thermometer. See students, mainly there are two types of thermometer: clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. So what is this laboratory thermometer? The name itself indicates that the thermometer which is used in the lab. Okay, that's why that thermometer is known as laboratory thermometer. Okay, so a laboratory thermometer reads the temperature from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Okay, it is read the temperature of any hot object or the cold. So it is measure that temperature within the range of minus 10 degrees Celsius to the 110 degree Celsius. So see over here student, this is the picture of laboratory thermometer. What is this? What is this in the laboratory thermometers? The lower fixed point is taken as the temperature at which the water boils. So in this thermometer has a bulb. See students, this is a bulb which is filled with the mercury. Okay, and a glass stream with a thin hollow tube running within it. This is the glass tube. Okay, this tube ends in the bulb at one end. This is the bulb at one end and it's sealed at the another end. The other end is closed over here. So whenever this bulb, see this is silver color, this bulb is comes in contact with the hot object, the mercury which is present in this thermometer goes on increases through this scale. Okay, goes on increasing, okay, or rises in the tube. That tube is nothing but the capillary tube. So these also possess the capillary tube from inside, and in that capillary tube the mercury level goes on increases whenever this thermometer is placed in the hot water. Okay students, so the marking up to which this mercury rises tells us the temperature of the object. Okay, why it is known as laboratory thermometer? Because it is used in the laboratory for measuring the temperature of any object, any liquid substances. The next one is the clinical thermometer. It is also the type of thermometer students. So what is this clinical thermometer? See, this clinical thermometer also possesses bulb at one end, a glass tube which also contains the capillary. Through that capillary the mercury level goes on increasing or decreasing, whatever maybe it is. Okay, so what is this clinical thermometer students? The thermometer that measures our body temperature is called clinical thermometer. Okay, so that this is the thermometer which measures our body temperature. See students, our body temperature is not measured by the laboratory thermometer. Okay, for measuring our body temperature the clinical thermometer is used, and you cannot use this clinical thermometer in the laboratory work because this is only made for measuring the body temperature. That's why it is known as clinical thermometer. So students, the thermometer that doctors use to measure our body temperature is nothing but this thermometer, that is the clinical thermometer. Okay, so it is generally a mercury thermometer. Okay, and it is uses a Fahrenheit scale. The scale starts from the 32 Fahrenheit. The scale starts from the 32 Fahrenheit and divided into the 180 equal divisions. Okay, students. So this is all about the clinical thermometer. Now, how to read the thermometer? Okay, students, what is actually present in the thermometer? Okay, so while reading the thermometer, what you have to do over here, see students, we have to first shake the thermometer vigorously. Whenever we have to read any temperature of hot water, okay, so before putting this thermometer into the hot water, you have to just shake the thermometer vigorously, so that the mercury which is gives goes below, that will comes to the normal mark. Okay, first you have to do that, the mercury should be comes to the normal mark. Afterwards, you have to keep this thermometer either in the armpit or under the tongue of the person whose temperature is measured. Okay, whose temperature is measured. This is the thermometer which is used for measuring the temperature of hot water. It is the laboratory thermometer. But whenever you use the clinical thermometer, at that time you have to keep that thermometer in the armpit or under the tongue of the person, so that we get the temperature of the body of that person. Okay, so take out that thermometer and read the mark where the silver line of that mercury ends. See over here, it possesses the 180 divisions. At one end there is bulb, this is the stem, this is mercury shaft, red color. Okay, students, which is flows through the capillary tube. So this is all about the reading of thermometer. Now, what are the precautions we have to take while reading the thermometer? Okay, here we have placed this thermometer into the hot water. But what are the precautions we have to take while observing the while precautions to be observed while reading the thermometers? See students, thermometer should be washed properly. Thermometer should be washed properly before and after used. Before used, it is washed properly, and after used, it is washed properly with the antiseptic solution, so that it cannot give the fluctuating results or the fluctuating readings. Okay, what you have to do, you have to wash before and after use with the antiseptic solution. Okay, next, what you have to do, do not hold the thermometer by its bulb end. Okay, we have to handle the thermometer with really very care. We have to hold or the held this thermometer, hold this thermometer by other end rather than this bulb. Okay, do not hold this thermometer by the bulb end while reading it. Also make sure that the mercury level is below the 35 degrees Celsius, or if it is the clinical thermometer, it is below the 95 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, before we use, if it is the clinical thermometer, what you have to see over there, we have to ensure that the mercury level is below the 95 degree Fahrenheit. And if it is the laboratory thermometer, you have to see whether the mercury level is below the 35 degree Celsius. Okay, so the thermometer should be at eye level while reading the, okay, while see over here, the thermometer should be at eye level while reading it. So read the thermometer keeping the level of mercury along the line of sight. Okay. Body of a thermometer is made of fine glass. Therefore, we have to handle it very carefully. Okay, we have to handle this thermometer while reading the temperature very carefully. So these are the certain precautions of the precautions while reading the thermometer. Now the next term comes over here, it is the heat. See students, we know that heat is a form of energy that can be transferred from one medium to another. In the in these sessions, first of the two slides, we have seen that there are other sources of the heat from which we get the energy. Okay, so this can be transferred from one medium to another medium. Okay students, an object cools down when the heat flows out of it, and it warms up when the heat flows into it. Okay, see here it is the example, that bowl possesses that bowl possesses the cold water and that glass possesses the hot milk. Okay, due to the placing of that hot milk of glass into the cold water, what will happen, that cold water becomes the warm one, because there is a transfer of heat from hot body to the cold body. Okay students, so this is about the heat. Now the unit of heat is measured in the calories or joule. Okay, heat is measured in the calories or joule, and other one unit of heat is erg. Okay, erg, it is the another unit of heat, and also calories or joule, it is the unit of heat. So the SI unit of heat, it is joule, which is denoted by the capital J. Okay, it is denoted by the symbol capital J. So this is all about the heat. Now here we have seen about the heat and the temperature. So what is the basic difference between the heat and temperature? See students, in this comparative chart, heat is a form of energy while temperature is a measure of heat energy level. Heat, what is heat? Heat, it is a form of energy, while temperature, it measures the heat of energy level. Okay, so it is the measure of heat, temperature, but heat, it is the form of energy. Heat energy rises the temperature of the body. Whenever there is the heat energy, it rises the temperature of the body. But what is temperature? Temperature decides the direction of flow of heat. Okay, according to temperature, the direction of flow of heat, whether the object is hot, then from hot to cold the heat will be transferred. So heat flows from a body at higher temperature to the body at lower temperature. The third one is heat is measured in the joules. What is the unit of heat? Heat is measured in the joules, while temperature is measured in the degree Celsius or Kelvin or the Fahrenheit. So this is the students basic difference between the heat and temperature. Now there are three modes of heat transfer. Okay, there are three modes of heat transfer, that is conduction, convection and radiation. Okay, mode of transfer means there are three ways. In that three ways the transfer of heat can take place. Okay, so modes means the ways, how what are the ways the heat is transferred. So there are three ways. What are these? Conduction, convection and radiation. Okay, so what is conduction students? See, mainly, the conduction means it is a transfer of heat energy from region of higher to the region of lower temperature. Okay, so conduction usually occurs in the solid substances. Okay, students, it is described as heat energy transfer from one material to another material by the direct contact. The contact is necessary for transfer of heat energy. Okay, suppose for example, if you stir hot milk with a stainless steel spoon for sometimes the edge of the spoon becomes little warm. Okay, little warm. Why it is so, students? See over here. This is the figure where, in this case, whenever you touch this object, at that time your whenever you touch this hot object, your hands really feels hotness. That means some of the heat energy of this hot object get transferred to your hand. Okay, students, get transferred to your hand. So the transfer of heat there requires the medium. But if there is no contact, if you cannot touch this hot object, then your heart does not feel any sense of hotness. Okay, so if there is a contact, then the heat energy, it is in the form of these uh, atoms. So these different objects conducts the different amount of heat energy. Okay, so that heat energy passes from one object to another object. Okay, students, so this is all about the conduction. This is all about the conduction. See, students, if we want to understand the conduction, how conduction occurs, so we need to look into the comparison of matters. We know that matter is made up of molecules. So in case of solids, the molecules are tightly packed with each other. They are not free to move. They really packed with each others. Okay, but they can vibrate around their fixed positions. So, what is this conduction? Conduction involves the transfer of heat energy between these molecules, adjacent molecules in the solid. As a solid is heated, it increases the vibration. If this one atom is heated, then it can transfer that heat energy to this next atom, to this next atom, and whole objects will be hot in this way. So the heat energy is passed on from one molecule to the next, although each individual molecule remains in its original position. They are not moved. Okay, students. So conduction is usually a slow process. It can either occurs a body or between the two bodies when they are in contact with each other. Why? We can place the objects touching to the touching to our gas panels. Why? Students, there is a contact due to which the heat is transferred. Okay, so this is all about the conduction. Now, what is a convection? See, students, there are certain liquids and the gases which are known as fluids. See, gases and the liquids togetherly called as fluid. Okay, so in case of fluids, the molecules themselves carries energy from hotter region to the colder region, and this process of transfer of heat energy from hotter to the colder region is known as convection. See, students, here contact is not necessary in the convection. Okay, see over here there is a heat and your hand is not in contact with directly to that heat. Okay, it is just above the above that heat. But if you observe that whenever you place the hand above the heat, your hand also feels the hotness of that heat. Okay, so why this is so? The molecules which are present in the air around this flame, they get vibrate and they transfer the heat energy from one molecule, and in this way our hand feels the really very hot. Okay, students, so when a fluid such as water comes in contact with an object whose temperature is higher than that of fluid, then the heat transfer through the convection process. So the temperature of the part of the fluid which is in contact with the hot objects also get increases. Okay, so this is about the convection. See students, the sun's rays heat up the surface of the heat. Okay, just like this, the convection is occurs or convection is responsible for the formation of sea breeze and the land breeze. Why this is so? See students, the sun rays heat up. Okay, see, the sun rays heat up. What is heat up the surface of the earth? Okay, whenever the sun rays fall on the earth, they heat the surface of the earth, and this heat is then transferred in the air by the convection. The heat of that surface of the earth is transferred. See students, in case of summer season we really feel very hot, as the temperature of surrounding is hot or the increases, or the surface of any ground surface is really very hot, so the sun's rays heat up that surface of the earth, and this heat is then transferred in the air, so we feel the warm air in the summer days also. So in the air by the convection process, because there is no direct contact of air and the ground, but due to the air molecules which are present over surrounding, they can absorbs the heat energy and transfer from one molecule to the another. So the convection helps in keeping our atmosphere warm. Okay, convection also plays an important role in maintaining the moderate temperature in the coastal area. See student, in the coastal area what will happen, the area around the sun, what will happen students, the land masses, that means the coastal beach, these are heat up much faster. These coastal beach are heat up much faster than the water which is present inside it. Okay, as compared to the water, the land which is present over there, it is really heat very much faster during the daytime. Okay, and it is really very fast cool down in the night time. So these temperature difference setups a wind pattern. Okay students, here I again repeat, in the daytime what will happen, the surface of the earth or the ground becomes really very hot. Okay, and at the time it also quickly becomes cool as compared to the water which is present in the sea. Okay, as compared to the water which is present in the sea. So during the day, the land gets heated faster than the water. So the air over the land becomes hotter. The air which is present over the land becomes hotter and raised up. Okay, and the cool air from the sea get rushed towards the land to take off its place. Okay, get rushed towards the land to take off its place. Here students, what you have to remember, that the land, it is really very hot. Why it is hot? The land surface becomes hot due to the temperature, surrounding temperature very quickly, as compared to the water which is present in the sea. That whole water cannot becomes very hot quickly. Okay, so as compared to that sea water, the surfaces which are present around that sea water gets really warm quickly and cools down also quickly as compared to the water in the sea at the night time. Okay, so what happens, the warm air from the land moves towards the sea. Okay, see over here students, the warm air, see this red color, this warm air from the land move towards, okay, that land move towards the sea to complete the cycle. It will goes up this warm air from this side, it will again go back to that sea. So the air moving from sea towards the land forms the sea breeze. Okay, the air, again the air moving from the sea. Okay, the air moving from the sea towards the land, this towards the land, that is forms the sea breeze. And at night time, what is happen? Exactly opposite to it. At night time, the land cools down faster than the water present in this sea. So what happens, students? The warmer air over the sea get rises. Okay, the warmer air. See over here, these arrows are in opposite direction. They are goes towards the right hand side from the land to the sea. But in case of sea breeze, from sea to the land, these arrows. See over here. So at night time, what will happen? The warmer air over the sea get rises. Okay, that warmer air get rises, and the cool air from the land moves towards the sea. So this also completes the cycle. The cool air from the air get goes to the land, and the warm air from the land get goes to the sea. So this is called as, or it really forms the land breeze. Okay, so this is all about the formation of sea breeze and the land breeze, where it's the principle of convection is used. Okay, where it's the principle of convection is used. Now the next term is radiation. The next term is the radiation. See students, uh, whenever we feel really very cool at that time in the winter season, what we all do? We all do that we get we placed in a place, we can sit in a place that where we get the enough sunlight, so that we feel little bit warm in the winter. So why this is so, students? We have seen that conduction and convection of heat takes place in the different mediums by the molecules of the, or the movement of molecules in them. Okay, but the transfer of heat, okay, the transfer of heat in the radiation does not need any medium. Okay, the heat from the sun directly comes to us. We feel heat or we feel the warm, but for transfer of that heat energy from the sun towards us does not need any kind of medium. Okay, so like light energy, heat energy also travel in the form of waves. Okay, it is also travel in the form of waves. That waves are called as electromagnetic waves. So the transfer of heat energy without any material medium in the form of radiation, that is the radiation. Okay, heat from the sun reaches us through the process of radiation. So what is this, students? See, in case of winter, we feel warm, so you can sit near a fire or the room heater, as heat from these sources reaches us through the radiations. Okay, so the heat or the energy that is transferred from one source to the other, that means transfer from sun to us, is called radiant heat. Okay, radiations are there, so all the objects radiate heat to their surrounding and receives the heat from the surrounding. So what will happen, students? The energy from the reaches us by the process of radiation. So all the hot bodies radiate heat. Our body also radiate heat, so they can give off heat to the atmosphere and receives the heat from the atmosphere. So we can also give heat of our body to the atmosphere and receives heat from the atmosphere also by the radiation process. So all the light rays contains some amount of heat energy. When the light beams are fall on the solid or the fluid surface, okay, whenever the sun's rays are fall on our body or any liquid surface, fluid surface, the parts of heat energy through that sun rays get reflected. The part of energy is absorbed and part of energy is transmitted. So three phenomena occurs in this case. Whenever the sun rays are falls on our body, at that time the part of the heat energy get reflected, part of the heat energy get absorbed by our body, and part of the heat energy get transmitted. So the absorbed heat, the heat which we absorb, or the heat which is absorbed by our body, rises the temperature of our body. Okay, so why you are advised to use an umbrella when go out in the sun, students? See, you also seen that there are some peoples who can use, or they are use the umbrella when they go out in the sun, although there is not a raining. So why they use the umbrella in the sun? Because that umbrella partly reflects the heat and partly absorbs the heat. Therefore we feel the very cool while walking under an umbrella, as the only part of heat is transmitted over there. Okay, also students, in suppose in summers, there is example of light color clothes are preferred. Certain peoples also uses the, or they prefer the, to wear the light color clothes. Why they wear the light color clothes in the summer? Because the light color clothes absorb the less amount of heat than the dark clothes. If there are dark clothes, they absorb the more heat, but if we wear the light color clothes, they absorb the less heat and they keep us relatively cooler. Okay, in the on the contrary, what will happen in the winter? We should use the dark colored clothes. Okay, why? The dark colored clothes absorbs the more heat, and they, from that absorption of more heat, it really helps to keep us warm. Okay, students, so this is all about the radiation. Now, conductors and insulators. See, students, these are the certain things which are also present at our home also. So what is these conductors and insulator? Some materials allow heat. Some of the materials allow heat to pass through them. Suppose one spoon is placed in the hot water, what will happen? That spoon is also get hot. Okay, so how this is so? Because some of the materials allows heat to pass through them easily, and some materials are like that, they do not pass heat from them. See, students, if you boil water in the glass, okay, and that, or if you boil water in the pan on the gas stove, what will happen? The pan becomes too much hot, whereas the handle of the handle which is made up of wood or any plastic, that handle does not get hot. In case of cookers also, students, that cooker become really very hot whenever we placed it on the gas stove. Okay, but the handle of cooker, which is suppose made up of plastic or anything else material, that is not really much heated, or that is not get hot. Why this is so? So students, the here comes this concept, that is the conductors. So in this case also, this nail, if we hot this nail, this nail also get hot. So the materials that allows the heat to pass through them easily are called conductors. And see this, this is the rubber, this handle of that this is this instrument, it is the insulator, means this material does not allow heat to pass through them. Okay, so what is the basic difference between conductor and insulator? Conductors are those which can allows the heat to pass through them, while the insulators are those materials that cannot allow heat to pass through them. So what are the examples of conductors? See, students, stainless steel, from the stainless steel, the heat also passes from copper, from aluminium, iron. So these all are the examples of conductors, while insulator means plastic. From plastic, heat is not transfer, or from the wood. from water and air. These all are the insulator examples of insulator, that is these are the materials that cannot allow the heat to pass through them easily. So this is all about the conductors and insulators. Okay students, so students, here we have covered all the topics of this lesson number 4, that is heat. I hope you all get all the topics we have just revised. Okay, so students, in this chapter we really uh, we really come across some of the concept that some of the students really get difficult to understand. So here I also cover those topic also. um, and also students, I want to tell you that some of the students doesn't drop their any kind of assignments, notes, that is writing work of notes, and other, that means the worksheets. So these all these things they cannot drop at the Google Drive. Okay, so students, please do make it fast. If you have completed your notes, you can drop that notes in Google Drive only. Please do not send me the mail. Okay students, so you have to, what you have to put over there in that Google Drive, your worksheet which you have solved from first video to till video. Okay, and also the notes which you have written and assignments. So there are separate folders over there. You have to just put your writing work on that each folder accordingly. Okay students, so don't forget to comment in the comment section also student, as it is mandatory. Okay, and as it is considered for your presentee also. So students, please do comments in the comment box with your standard and division with your name also. If you have any queries regarding these videos, you can send me the mail. This is my mail ID. Okay students, thank you.